Let's talk about something that feels like a real head scratcher these days: the American economy. I mean, it is sending some seriously mixed signals, right? So, we're going to dig in and try to figure out what is really going on. Okay, so let's just jump right in. This is the central question, isn't it? Is the US economy actually booming, or is it secretly on the verge of busting? Because you hear these amazing headlines one day, and then the next, it's all doom and gloom. So, what is the real story? The best way to think about this is like a tale of two completely different economies happening at the same time. On one side, you have these really powerful signs of strength and growth. But on the other, you see these really clear indicators of financial strain on everyday folks. And these two sides are in a constant tug of war. So first, let's look at the optimistic side. Let's make the case for growth, because there is some seriously compelling evidence out there that suggests the economy isn't just treading water. It's actually expanding in some pretty huge ways. And there are three main engines really driving this growth. First, there's a massive boom in tech investment. That, in turn, is fueling a surprisingly strong job market. And to top it all off, you and I, the consumers, we just keep spending. Our spending has been incredibly resilient. Let's start with that tech boom. And look, we're not just talking about some minor software updates here. We're talking about companies pouring billions with a B into game-changing technologies like AI and automation. And the crucial part is, this isn't some far-off plan for the future. It's creating hyping jobs and driving the economy right now. And all that investment? Well, you can see it reflected directly in the job market. One of the biggest arguments for a healthy economy is that unemployment is still really, really low. In a lot of key industries, companies are still hiring like crazy, and that competition for good people is pushing wages up for some workers. But, and this is a big but, that's only half the story. On the other side of this economic coin, you've got the immense pressure of rising costs, and that paints a very, very different picture for a lot of people. For millions of Americans, the reality they feel every single day is this squeeze on their wallets, and it's coming from a few places. You've got stubborn inflation on groceries and gas. You have utility and energy costs that are just surging, hitting family budgets hard. And in some states, you're even seeing the impact of funding cuts to programs like Medicaid. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's so simple, but it perfectly captures that feeling that so many people have. It feels like no matter how hard you work, your money just doesn't go as far as it used to. And this chart right here, it basically puts that feeling into a picture. You can see it clear as day. The bar for rising prices is just taller than the bar for wage growth. So even if you get a raise, which is great, for a lot of people, that extra money is just getting eaten up by the higher cost of everything else. That right there is the paycheck squeeze in action. So this brings us right to the heart of the conflict. It's a standoff, really. You've got growth on one side and inflation on the other. And these two powerful opposing forces are what's creating all of this tension and uncertainty in the economy. This little scorecard sums up the whole puzzle perfectly. I mean, just look at it. Take jobs. The positive, low unemployment. The negative, wages can't keep up with inflation. How about spending? We're all still out there buying things, but rising costs are definitely putting a cap on our budgets. Even investment shows the split. Yeah, billions are flowing into tech, but high cost for everything else make other businesses really nervous and uncertain. Okay, so we've been talking about all this data, these big trends. It can all feel a little abstract. But the real question, the one that actually matters, is what does all of this economic back and forth actually mean for you? Well, it really hits your life in three key areas. First, your wallet. You feel that daily strain of higher prices every time you go to the store. Second, your job. It might feel secure because the market is strong, but your salary might not feel like it's keeping up. And third, all this uncertainty makes it really hard to plan for your future. Things like saving up, investing, or making those big life decisions. So what's going to give? Which force is going to win out, this powerful engine of growth or the crushing pressure of rising costs? Honestly, economists are split right down the middle. And just to make things more interesting, there's a huge new factor coming into play. The big twist is this: how are the 2026 elections going to shape the economic policies that could finally tip the scales one way or the other? That, right there, is the question that's going to define the next chapter of this whole story.